Today we're going to be taking a look at the granny square. Now, this is a really popular crochet pattern and with good reason. It's really simple to work, the repeat is easy to memorize, and I'm going to get you started with that right now. So we're going to begin, as usual, with a slip knot. So I'm just going to loop my yarn over and pull a loop through and secure that on my hook. Now I'm going to begin with a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to join this chain to form a ring. So I'm going to do that with a slip stitch. So to work a slip stitch, I'm just going to insert my hook into the first chain that I made, and then yarn over hook, or grab some yarn with your hook and just pull that through that first chain that I made and the last chain on my hook. And now I've got a little chain ring. So we're going to be working into that ring for the first round. So my first round begins with a chain 6. I'm going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this chain 6 is going to count as one double crochet stitch, or 1 DC, and a chain 3. And we'll get more into that more at the end of this round. It'll become more apparent. So from here, I'm going to work 3 DC, chain 3, 3 times in this ring. So to work a double crochet, I'm going to yarn over hook, and I'm working into the ring. So I'm going to insert my hook in the ring, draw up a loop, then yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops on hook, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops on hook. So that's my 1 double crochet made. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. Yarn over hook, insert my hook into the ring and draw up a loop, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops on hook, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops on hook. And 1 more time, yarn over hook, insert my hook into the ring, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops on hook, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops on hook. So that's 3 double crochets, and that's the only stitch we're going to use throughout this whole granny square. Double crochets and chains, that's all you need to know. So remember, my instructions were 3 DC, chain 3 3 times in this ring, all at the same time. So I've got my 3 DC, chain 3. I'm going to do that twice more. So yarn over hook before inserting into my ring, drop a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops, yarn over, draw through 2 loops. So there's 3 more DCs. I'm going to work chain 3, 3 DC, just 1, 2, and 3. So I've worked my 3 DC, chain 3 3 times in ring. Then I'm going to work 2 DC in ring. Oh, I have to work my 1, 2, 3 chains. Now I work 2 DC, or 2 double crochet. So it's going to appear like we have 3 groups, or rather 4 groups of these 3 DCs, because my chain, my beginning chain, is going to count as that last chain 3 and my last double crochet. So I'm going to join my round by making a slip stitch in the 3rd chain of that chain 6. So for some reason I find it easier to count backwards rather than go 1, 2, 3. I like to do it backwards. So there's my last chain, 1, 2, 3, and then I know this one is the 3rd. Of course you can count from the beginning up, 1, 2, 3. I just find it easier because this is out in the open. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch by inserting my hook into that 3rd chain and pulling through some yarn through that chain and through the loop on my hook. And there's my first round. So you can see we're already forming a square here. The double crochet groups are forming the sides of the square, and the 3 chains form the corners. So now I'm ready to work the second round. And to do that, I'm going to begin working in this chain 3 space in the corner. So to get over there, I'm just going to work a slip stitch in that chain 3 space. So again, I'm just inserting my hook, pulling through some yarn and drawing it through the loop on my hook. So that's not an actual stitch. It doesn't create any height or body. It's just going to blend into your work at the end. So we're going to begin again, and we're beginning every round actually with a chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, that's going to count as the last DC of our round and a chain 3 space. So now I'm going to work 3 DC in the same space as that last slip stitch. So my last slip stitch was in the chain 3 space. I'm going to work 3 DC in there. So yarn over hook, drop a loop, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops. I'm going to do that 3 times. There's my 3 double crochets. Oh, lost my stitches there. Okay, and now I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip over these 3 double crochets and I'm going to work into the next chain 3 space. So there I'm going to work 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC, all in the same space. There's my 3 DC. Chain 3. And 3 DC. So the rest of the rounds, we're going to be doing the same thing in the corners that we've done just now, a 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC, and that forms the corners of our granny square. So I've worked this one corner, now I'm going to work a chain 1 over to the next corner, and I'm going to do the same thing, 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC in the corner. So we're just setting up with the first couple of rounds the foundation of our square, and then the rest of the rounds become quite repetitive, so you can just keep going and going without even looking at your pattern. So I've worked my 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC in my corner chain 3 space. I'm going to chain 1 to get over to my next corner. And I'm going to do the same thing again, 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC, all in that same corner 3 DC space. So need some extra yarn here. And I like to just shift my stitches over if I'm working along and I find I don't really have enough space for the rest of my DC stitches I need to work in there. You can just slide them along the chain because we're not actually working into the chain, we're just working into the space. So they have room to move around. You can maneuver them and pull it into the shape you like. Okay, now we're almost finished our second round. I'm gonna work a chain 1. And then in my last chain 3 space, which is also the chain 3 space that I began my round on, I'm just going to work 2 double crochets because that beginning chain 6 is going to give me what counts as my last double crochet. So if you're counting from the beginning or the end, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's my third chain. I'm going to insert my hook and join with a slip stitch. So I've divided that chain so that half the chain counts as the last DC of my round and my chain 3 counts as a chain 3 space. So that's it for round 2. Now I'm going to begin round 3, working into this chain 3 space we just created. I'm going to make a slip stitch. Now there's different ways to work granny squares. This is just one one way with this chain 6 at the beginning and the end. I find this a really quick and easy way to do it. So I'm going to begin again with a chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, that counts as 1 double crochet and a chain 3 space. Then I'm going to work 3 double crochets in that same space. Then I'm going to chain 1, and in the chain 1 space I'm going to work 3 double crochets. So the sides of our square are going to have these 3 double crochet groups separated by chain 1s. So every chain 1 space you're working 3 double crochets. Then I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm at a corner because I'm at a chain 3 space. And in a corner, you're going to work 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC. Three DC, chain 3, 3 DC. You can see how quickly this works up by how often I have to pull up extra yarn to work with. So there's my corner again. And now I'm at a chain 1 space. So I chain 1, then work 3 DC in that chain 1 space. Chain 1. And then I'm at a corner chain 3 space. So 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC. So that's where you can see the patterns starting to really form here, and it's really quite easy to memorize when you're at a chain 3 space, and it's also easy to see when you're in the corner. But when you find yourself in a chain 3 space, you need to work your corner, which is 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC, so it's all 3, 3, 3. And then when you're at a chain 1 space, you'll work your 3 DC and separate the groups of 3 DC with a chain 1. So here I'm coming across a chain 1 space. I'm going to chain 1 because there should always be chains in between your 3 DC groups so that you can work your next round into those chains. So I've worked a chain 1. I'm going to work 3 DC, that's at the side of my square. Chain 1 because I should always have chains in between my 3 DC groups. And now I'm at a chain 3 space, and I can see that that's a corner, so I need to work my corner set of stitches, which is 3 DC, chain 3, 3 DC. So we're almost finished this round. I'm just going to take you through the end of this round. I'm at a chain 1 space, so I chain 1, work 3 DCs or 3 double crochets in that space, chain 1, and now I'm back to the beginning. So I've got my chain 6 here, so I just need to work 2 double crochets to finish off this last corner, because I'm going to join with a slip stitch in the center of this chain 6 in the 3rd chain of my chain 6, split that chain into what will become the last double crochet of my group and the chain 3 corner space. So I'm just going to pull up a loop so we can take a look at this, and that's all there is to it. You can keep going around and around. I could fasten off right now and make several squares and join them together, or you can just keep going and going and going and make a nice big blanket. It's really quite easy to work. You can see why it's so popular. And that's it for our granny square.